put on a virtual ladies retreat, which was really good. I got a lot out of it. I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to personally thank you for doing that. So, so
I worry so much that somebody else, because I was like, I know I got a lot out of it, but I sure do hope that it reached other
yeah,
people too. No.
it was really good. I really needed it, and it was just good. Just I mean, I know we weren't together physically, but we were together virtually and spiritually. And I thought that was a really good thing. So, but anyway, I just wanted to thank
Thank
you
you.
for that real quick. So, I'll let you tell us about yourself, and then just touch a little bit on um, what loss you had a few years ago. So, um,
All right. Well, she said, I'm Michelle Weaver. I'm 37 and I'm a mama to six. Is that crazy? So have a daughter that she'll be 15. So in August I have three birthdays. So I have one almost 15, and then a daughter that's 11, a son that's 9, and then I have a daughter that would be 7 years old now, and she passed
mhm,
away at 2 weeks old. And
mhm.
then my rainbow baby, he's another August, and he will be 6. And my pot of gold baby, he will be 4 in August. Yes. So a baby born after a loss is called a rainbow, and a baby born after the rainbow is the pot of gold.
Oh, okay.
So
I
those
I've
are my
never heard
terms. Those
that. Yeah.
are terms. Yeah. That you don't find out about until you join this. Yeah.
Oh,
I
like a group.
say the club that nobody wants to be in, right? Like after
Yeah.
a month. I mean,
Yeah.
some people hear about it, but that's when you're like, there's terms
Yeah.
for all this, right? I could have
Exactly.
gone without knowing, but
Of
yeah.
course.
So yeah, I have 3 girls and 3 boys. So from 3 to 14.
Does anybody tease you and call you guys the Brady Bunch? Or
Uh, right. Most people are just like, "Wow, you've got your hands full," or "Really," or things like that. And yeah, I tell people normally, I'm like, "Yep, keeps you on your toes, that's for sure." You know,
like you say that like they really don't have a clue, you know. I mean,
but
because they don't. I mean, I grew up with five. There was five of us,
mhm.
and I was the oldest. So growing up with a lot of siblings, it's challenging because my mom was single, so she worked a lot, and we had to take care of each other. And sometimes that was good, and sometimes that was a disaster. you know,
Yeah, we get that.
yeah.
So my 2 oldest are by my ex-husband,
hmm
and he has then a stepson and another daughter. So my oldest is the oldest of 8.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the oldest. And she's still sad that um, we say we're done. And her stepmom has been done. And so no more newborns, but she's the only one that's like with me that's like, no more babies. Me and her are sad. Everybody else is like, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she does help with them. She's other
Mhm.
mom. She is just like the younger two. If you see them with her, like she's the one they go to if they need comfort or if they get mad at me or something.
Oh.
They they go to Nan. So
Yeah.
then if they wanted someone to play with most of the time, they would go to the other two. My 11 and
Gotcha.
9-year-old. They are like the playmates. But my oldest, yeah, she's uh yeah, their
Yeah,
mother.
she wants more newborns because she's at the top of the totem pole. The other ones, they're down they've got an older sibling that's picking on them and bossing them around, telling them what to do. So they don't want any more.
Right. Yeah, I guess so, but
Yeah.
no, we love having a big family. And I mean, honestly, I always wanted 7 kids. I'm one of 7. I always
Hmm.
wanted 7. But I do understand why we're done. And I don't want people to think that he just says it and so that's the decree. He has reasonings, and a lot of it has to do with our loss. And
Yeah.
so I get it, and I'm happy. I can look at my kids and I can be happy. But
Hmm.
I enjoyed being pregnant. I was one of those weird women that actually enjoyed it. And the newborn stage is my favorite. And we all know they only stay newborns for a very short time.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. That's why I said I don't think I could ever say like I would always be happy with another.
Right. Of
But
course.
I'm happy with what I have too. So
Yeah.
we're good. We're done. It's okay. But
Well, don't worry. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I mean, in a few years, your kids will be having kids.
don't say if
So.
please. I know. I'm like, and I will be happy, and I understand that there's nothing like being a grandparent. People will always say that, but um, it still won't be the same. Like
Yeah.
I won't be carrying them.
I
I
know.
won't be feeding them.
And you're.
They won't be right.
I didn't believe him. The whole grandparent thing until Kyrie came along, and I'm like, I would beat somebody up for that kid.
Right. I mean, I get that.
I would go hungry to make sure she had what she needed. It's just a totally different feeling. It's like the love that you gave your child is like multiplied because they
Well,
had one.
right.
It's just a weird feeling. I love it. So.
Well, I don't know as far as like the feeling because I'm not there. Like my oldest is 14, so so I'm not there yet. But I always said it was kind of like basically you could spoil your grandkids like you always wanted to do your kids because you want to spoil your kids, but
Yeah.
you can't because you have to raise them into these good human beings. So
Right.
you have to discipline and you have to have rules and you have to all that stuff. Once you're a grandparent, it's like that's your job to discipline. I can just spoil and love on, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Because my kids would go to my mom's and or to their grandparents, and they would just whatever they wanted. Like they would say, "Nan, I'm hungry." I'm like, "You just ate. You're not hungry." And she's like, "If he wants something to eat, and goes in there and gets him some food." I'm like, "What is this nightmare going on here?"
my kids very rarely go to Granny and Papa's house without eating all of their Lay's stacked potato chips that they always have. And even if we ate before we got there, they're probably going to have a peanut butter sandwich. And Papa likes to keep Tootsie Rolls and M&Ms and stuff around.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, my grandpa did that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have a full-time job, right? I mean, like, you work a lot of hours.
Yeah. I
So,
work
how do
7
you manage that with 6 kids? I mean, how does that work?
Well, my husband kind of accidentally became a stay-at-home dad. He did not plan that.
Accidentally?
So what happened was a couple years ago, he was like, I would really like to start my own landscape business. And him and
Hmm.
his dad were going to do it, and we like got the stuff and we were prepared. And then his dad had an injury and couldn't. And
Okay.
I had a coworker pass away, and at that same time. And
Hmm.
so I took on some of his hours. And so then I was working all these crazy hours that he couldn't have gone back into a job. And then COVID hit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
whereas a lot of people lost jobs,
Yeah.
I increased my hours yet again to where I was working over 80 hours a week
Hmm.
last
Hmm.
year. So yeah, he
And you
does.
work in a nursing home facility? It's,
No, I take care of people with disabilities in their homes. So,
oh, okay. I'm
yep.
sorry.
No, no, you're good. I'm one on one. So
Yeah.
I was like, I had job stability during COVID, but I
Mhm.
also like I wasn't like the doctors and nurses that were there on the front lines or even in nursing
Mhm.
homes that were worried about getting it. I
Right.
was in a very contained place, you know. It was me, another coworker, and then sometimes our boss.
Right.
And it was basically we all were in our
Mhm.
little bubbles, you know, like
Gotcha.
our group was not big. So
Okay.
none of us, all of us were all careful and cautious for each other, you know,
Mhm.
because my little guy, well, me and my oldest have allergy induced asthma, but
Mhm.
my youngest has reactive airway disease, which is
Mhm.
basically asthma. They just won't call it that
Mhm.
unless he still has it in a few years. Like if
Gotcha.
he doesn't outgrow it, then they'll call it asthma.
Oh,
It's
because
basically
he's so young.
right. And
Yeah.
viruses are what causes him problems. So I
Mhm.
said, like, if I get a cold, then it sucks for a little while. He
Mhm.
gets a cold and we're at the hospital or doctors at least once, at least a
Oh
round of
Lord.
steroids and breathing treatments every 4 to 6 hours. I mean,
Right.
so we were all like serious bubble
Mhm. Yeah.
for quite a while. And don't tell my youngest ones, but they still think that kids aren't allowed to go in the stores. So
Okay, you heard it here, the big secret.
so we've started like taking them some places. All right, we
Yeah.
have like they go to the zoo and stuff now, but most of what we do is still outside activities because
Just
we're so
not to the.
many people, but yet
I
they
know
don't.
why you're not taking it to the grocery store. I dreaded the checkout aisle. Go down the checkout lane.
Right. That's when everything breaks loose at the checkout. I know.
Because by that time they're tired and wore out, and then they see all the candy and the drinks. It's like,
And they
oh
have
my
to sit
god.
still for that long, like you're no longer moving or walking around the aisles and stuff. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember those days.
definitely.
So,
Oh
so
goodness,
I
that's
promise I
cool.
won't say a word. Okay.
Well, I mean, things are opening back up, and so we
Hmm.
do take the places, but we've been, like, slowly getting out of our bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't live in fear
So
anymore. We did at the very beginning. We were in fear, and then we got to the point where we're like, "I don't know if it's really a terrible for everybody." You know,
yeah.
like, it is bad, it's a real thing,
Right.
but, like, I don't know. I don't know if we needed to be quite as cautious as what we were, but we said we couldn't afford to be wrong.
Right. Oh
We've
yeah, for
got him,
sure.
we had to protect him. So we
Right.
stopped living in fear and we're just still cautious.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I mean, there's lots of people that are cautious. You know, I wasn't as cautious, but I don't get sick. Like some
Yeah.
people, or I don't have something that I live with that's going to cause me to be hospitalized. So yeah, I just there's nothing wrong with it. Those are your babies. And you've already lived through a loss. You know,
And
and it's
that's
something
where
that
we really were, so
yeah, so I mean, something that you had no control over. And I couldn't imagine having to go through something like that again, you
yeah.
know. I mean, it's like before medicine, how did these mothers, they just had babies, raised kids, and then they would lose them. But yet they just had to keep going on. I mean, and there wasn't no counselor or, you know, therapist or whatever. I mean, it was just
No Facebook groups to get on and know, okay, I'm not crazy, what I'm feeling is real and it's okay and I'm
yeah,
not the only one, and
exactly,
I joined
exactly.
that's what I did. I joined a lot of, Facebook groups for grieving moms and stuff,
Yeah.
and so you're like, "Okay, I'm not alone."
right.
I mean, it's
You're
still
not.
hard, but I'm not alone, and so that's kind of comforting and not at the same time because you're also like, "That's really terrible that all these people have had to go through this," but
Right. I mean, you would think in our times, our modern medicine that we have, that this is still happening, and there's, and there's nothing that you can do. Um, unless there's some type of preventive care,
right,
but even then, you know, that was 7 years ago.
right.
So,
She got
so,
an infection, and they
mhm,
still don't know where it came from or what it was. Um, all they know is they couldn't get ahead of it. They were still kind of treating her for, like, every type of infection,
yeah,
and she was on lots of different things, and, the doctor doesn't know, but,
hmm,
uh, at one point, I could hear her in the hallway talking to another doctor,
hmm,
and, she's like, "Well, could we try this?" And they're like, "No, she's too small." "Well, could we try this?" "No, because of that," and, like, she
hmm,
was literally trying everything she could. I
right,
never for a moment thought that they didn't do everything they could because I know
right,
she like I said, she was consulting with another doctor, like, "What can I do?" But
right,
she was only 2 weeks old, so
yeah.
there wasn't, like
So, but they are pretty sure that whatever she had, that did she have it like when she was still in the wound, or did they think that she got it like afterwards?
the only thing we definitely know is that it was an infection.
Hmm.
And very probable to be a blood infection because what I seen on her that caused us to go to the doctors was spots on her back,
Yeah.
and that ended up being um, clotting. But then she was bleeding around her brain.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it definitely was. It was in the blood, so
Hmm.
it was everywhere. I mean, it was through her whole body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why they didn't
Um,
do anything?
so I know.
To know for sure they would have had to do an autopsy. And
Oh
the
yeah.
idea I mean, like, if anybody's listening and you did have an autopsy on your baby, then, like, it's not a judgment thing. It was that I emotionally could not handle the thought of them
Hmm.
doing that to her.
Right. Right. Um, so so I know that I you told me your story, and so that
Mhm.
day, how long was she in the hospital before she passed? Because I was thinking that it was pretty fast.
Yeah. So, um, let's see, Wednesday night, she had lost her umbilical cord.
Hmm.
And so, she was gonna have her first real bath, right? And I
Hmm.
waited for the other kids to come well, my oldest was the only one in school. I waited for her to come home from school and filled up one of those baby tubs, and we were
Hmm.
actually in the living room because everybody wanted to give her first bath, right? Like and so I was giving her a bath, and she pooped in the water. So, I had to take
Look,
her
she
in.
already had attitude. I'm doing this.
Right, I have a picture of her. She was so mad in that bath, like, you should see her face, like but I had to hold her in, like, over the bathtub, and daddy kinda hosed her off because of it.
Yeah.
So but at that moment, I seen her back, and looking back, I know, like, there was nothing there because I wasn't, like, concerned
Yeah.
yet about
Right.
anything. So then we got her dressed and we went to my mom's and my mom fed her a bottle. She had not really had many bottles because I was nursing and that
Hmm.
still was breast milk, but my
Hmm.
mom fed her a bottle and she did all right with it, but I went to change her diaper and that's when we noticed the first spots.
Hmm.
So I called the doctor and they're like, "Well, it sounds like pressure points because it was down her spine." And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just keep plugging away with it, like, just keep trying to feed her and whatever. So then the next morning, like all night, pretty much I stayed up with her trying to get her to like eat better and stuff like that. And
So
then,
she didn't
um,
have like an appetite.
No,
to
she wasn't
eat?
eating well, and she finally did
Mhm.
eat all right about 7 o'clock in the morning, I think, and so I, like, dozed off a little bit,
Mhm.
and, then my husband got up, and he was working at the time, and
Mhm.
he said, yeah, I don't know, he sat and he held her, and she's a newborn, and she literally looked in his eyes, like, eye contact for, I mean, a pretty good length of time for a newborn, you know?
Mhm.
And, so then he went to work, and my oldest went to school, and it was me and a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old and this baby.
Yeah.
And I went to change her diaper again, and there was a bigger spot. It was like, and it was on her tailbone,
Mhm.
and I flipped
Yeah.
because my immediate thought was, internal bleeding.
Right.
So I'm calling my mom. My 2-year-old can sense something is wrong,
Right.
but he's 2, and so he's running around just a diaper. I can't get him dressed. It's November in Ohio, which, if you know anything about that, it's cold.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't just, like, throw him in the car with a diaper on, and I'm not okay. I'm on the phone with my mom, totally flipping out,
Yeah.
trying to fold clothes, trying to pack diaper bag, trying to get 2-year-old to get dressed, and what actually ended up happening was my 3-year-old got him to get dressed. She packed the diaper bag.
Oh.
She tried to keep me calm. She kept trying to talk to the baby sister, like, "Look, mom, she's just sleeping. She's okay," because, at that point, she was kinda going out, and she's like, "She's just going to sleep. She's fine, mom. See, look, she's okay."
Yeah.
And so my 3-year-old is the one that kept it together. Don't ask me,
Oh.
she's amazing.
Does
Like,
she remember that day? Does she remember?
I don't know if she remembers it, and I
Mhm.
don't I don't wanna put things in her head, so,
Right.
you know, like, if she came up to me and talked to me about things, that'd be one thing, but, we do
Yeah.
talk about Katie all the time. She's part of our everyday
Mhm.
lives,
Yeah.
but not about necessarily that day.
Gotcha.
But the next year, about 9 months later, actually, is when her dad had a sister, had a little baby girl, and he
Oh.
took the girls to visit their sister at the hospital, and he brought her back to me, and leaving this new baby sister at the hospital, she had turned 4 by then, and she was having
Oh.
a panic attack. Like, that's
Oh.
definitely what that was, and so I think part of her does, she remembers, and, like, the last thing she knows
Subconsciously, yeah.
is her other sister going into the hospital, and now she just left this baby sister at the hospital, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it was pretty scary, but
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah, but we
So
got her to the hospital, and then they
mhm.
checked her out, and then they life flighted her to Children's, and she was there, from Thursday morning until Friday night. She passed away at 7, almost exactly 7 p.m.
Oh. So, I mean, were the kids there with you when at the hospital when she, finally?
They only got to the, emergency room lobby, and my mother-in-law sat with them there, and then, my ex-husband actually came and picked up the one daughter, went and got
Mhm.
the other one from school. He took care of all that, and the life of me, I can't remember if it was my sister-in-law or if my mother-in-law's ex, took him, but someone took my 2-year-old. I
Yeah.
He ended up being at my mother-in-law's house while we were
Right.
at the hospital, but I'm not sure who got him there. And, yeah, so she sat with them in the lobby, and
So
then they
it
never
turned
went to
out to be like a big family affair, like everybody pulled together to
well,
support
that's
each other.
one of the wonderful things about a
Yeah.
large family is there's always somebody. Yeah, I'm one
Right.
of 7, he's one of 8,
Yep.
and
So,
yeah.
so what was it like? I mean, did you go back to work or did you have a grieving period?
Um,
I
so
mean,
that was I work for really small companies, and
Mhm.
there's just a few of us, and so they all like just kind of watched out for me. I didn't have to go back to work until after Christmas that
Mhm.
year. So I did eventually go back to work,
Yeah. I mean,
but
because
yeah,
technically you would still been on maternity leave,
right, but
because she was only 2 weeks old. Yeah.
right. But I still got a little bit, like an extra little bit of time, probably a
Yeah.
couple more weeks after that.
Right.
But
So you
it
said
makes
when was she born, in October?
no, she was born November 8th and passed November 22nd.
Oh my goodness. Right
Exactly.
before the holidays.
Yeah, she passed on Friday, and Thanksgiving was the next Thursday.
Right.
So
Wow. I mean, I've had relatives, know of relatives who passed on Thanksgiving, you know,
my
and
grandma did like that night, like overnight
yeah,
when I was 19. Yeah.
right. It's just, I mean, you want those holidays to be, a happy time, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. You just make the best of what you can with it.
Yep.
So,
Like Thanksgiving used to always be my favorite
yeah.
holiday. So um, November 4th is our anniversary. November 8th is her birthday. November 10th is my husband's birthday. We brought her home on his birthday from the
Oh.
hospital. And then November 22nd, she passed. So November is a roller coaster. And I, 1 year actually totally forgot our anniversary.
Oh.
And then like a week later, then I was like, oh, you know what we forgot this year? And he goes, we remember that ring that I just got you? That was for our anniversary. Like, oh, oops, me, I forgot. But I was in such a fog. It would start in
Yeah.
late October, and I would just go into this fog. And I
Right.
actually spent the majority of a good 6 years probably in a fog.
Right.
Um,
So how do
and
you feel today? I mean, do you feel like it's manageable? I mean, like, you know,
okay, so
uh,
I'm always scared of anxiety meds. Uh,
mhm,
I mean, if they work for you, awesome. But
mhm,
I don't take a lot of meds and stuff. And I
right,
was scared of side effects and
right.
things. And I didn't want to be high. Like I didn't like I wanted to
You
have
mean like a
real
zombie, like you was
emotions.
zoned out?
Exactly.
Right.
Because I said there are people that have depression. Having
Yep.
depression and being depressed are two different things. And a
Mhm.
person that has depression, that is a chemical imbalance in your brain. And so medication helps that.
Right.
Because if you have depression, then it doesn't matter how perfect life looks or feels or seems, you can still feel depressed.
Right.
And to me, I was like, I have a reason. Mine is a reason. Mine's grief, and it was different. So
Gotcha.
I fought it for years, not wanting to do anything. And probably was not, I would not recommend it to anybody. So after about 6 years, I hope you don't mind. I will be honest with you, and I'll tell you what I do now.
Oh
It's
no, you go ahead.
controversial. It's controversial, but I use CBD gummies
Oh.
because it
Well,
doesn't
you
make
are in
you.
Ohio, so
Well, CBD doesn't make you high. It
right.
just has that. So when I first started using it,
Yeah.
then I really do feel like I came out of a fog for the first time in about 6 years. I came out of that. So medication probably would have actually been a good choice for me years
Benefited
before
you.
that. But I didn't realize it. I thought I was hiding it. I thought I was hiding it very well from people. And
Mhm.
now I realize I wasn't at all.
Mhm.
And at my younger too, it made me really sad. Like the first day that I felt like me, that I could have normal human emotions. Things happen and they make you sad and you cry about them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're happy too, like normal shit. That's all I ever wanted.
Right.
And
Right.
so the first day I felt like myself again, which I've always been like a happy person.
Yeah.
And I wanted to cry because I realized that meant for 6 years, my oldest three didn't have the real me anymore. And my youngest two
Oh,
literally didn't even know
no. Yeah.
any different than crazy
I
mom.
know, but
It
I
just
mean, you
wasn't so
can't,
crazy, but
I know, but you can't blame yourself, for, because you had good intentions.
right,
And
I know, but I shouldn't have thought it.
you righted it, and now it's a new time, a new chapter.
Right.
And things are looking up for your family. You guys are, I mean, you seem like a very close family to me. Good relationships with the ex-husbands and the wives and all that. You
Yeah.
all get along and everything. So I mean, we all make mistakes, but I just feel like, you know you if you realize you've made a mistake and decide, okay, this day forward, okay,
Right.
I realize I should have done that, I shouldn't have done that,
Right. Like I said, I
but
was in a fog. I was totally in a fog.
yeah,
It was like walking out of a fog for the first time.
yeah, yeah.
And so I'm still sad. And November is still hard. And Mother's Day is still hard because, as a
Hmm.
mom, you're like, people say it all the time. They're like, well, might not have done much today, but at least I kept all the kids alive. And that
Oh my god.
statement used to be right. Like that statement used to be like that's what it was. And now that statement hurts. Now
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
does.
but I mean, it was
Well,
totally
the
not
ones that are here, we're all happy.
right. But you could see the oldest three, like they do have such a connection. They have like it's their bond is beautiful. I hope they
Right.
always keep it. And the younger two are so spoiled because I said like rainbow, that is like the perfect term for him. He really did bring like this, like it doesn't take away from the fact that it hurts, and it doesn't take away the fact that like
Yeah.
she's not the storm. Losing her was the storm,
Right.
right? And it doesn't take away from that, but he just brought this new light back into our lives.
Oh.
And so all of them, I said at one point, I was wearing him, and I never I was never a baby wearing mama before that. Like, sure, if we were walking around somewhere, then I would use the little carrier thing, but
Yeah.
um, I I was taught with my oldest to set her down, let her be in the bouncy seat, let her like, and so she's very independent. And
Right.
then him, I literally wore most of the time, and I did
I
get to
think
where,
everybody would have done that.
but I felt like bad at one point. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm spoiling him so bad, and I feel so guilty to the other ones. And then I looked around and realized I wasn't the only one. They are just as bad as I am, sometimes worse, because now he's almost 6, and they still don't make him do things. I'll be like, okay, everybody needs to go clean the living room, and I'll walk in, and the two youngest ones, they'll be sitting there on phones or watching TV, and I'm like, why aren't they helping? Oh well, they're okay. No, they're not.
They're taking a break, Mom.
Right.
They've had a rough day.
Right, being 5 and 3.
Well, it is challenging sometimes,
I'm
to be 5 and 3.
That's true. Oh my goodness. But they're so spoiled. But they all really do just love each
Yeah.
other. They love each other.
Oh, they
So
do. Well, that's good. I mean, they seem like a great bunch of kids, and they are so cute. I mean, you showed the pictures, and they're just so cute. It's like, oh.
they're about as rotten as them, and I love it. Like they're all so different. It's so interesting,
Hmm.
like to see all these different personalities.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, how does your husband deal with it today? I mean, now that he's Mr. Mom, you know.
Oh, well, he stays outside and does as much outside as possible. He has rebuilt a bike and like the motorcycles. He's working on mine right now.
Oh,
But
you guys ride motorcycles? Oh Lord.
yeah, we love we love to ride, and I actually have like my license now too. Like I drive
Yeah.
my own, so
Awesome.
he's working on that, and he has built his own, and
Uh,
he works on everybody in the neighborhood, brings their cars to him, or he's
oh,
mowing the neighbor's
gotcha.
yard. Yeah, he's trying because he's the type of person that has to constantly be
Doing
doing
something.
something. Yeah, so
Hmm.
he's not like a go and sit on the couch and play video games all day. He's come on guys, let's go.
Yeah,
Right.
let's go outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outside.
kids do need to be outside.
They
I do
do. They
agree with
spend a
that.
lot of time outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good about that. Trust me, my kids get more screen time than they was probably recommended, but
Well,
they also get a
yeah.
lot of outside time too. They do
Yeah.
know how to go out there and play and have fun.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
they know how
So
the
you did.
clubhouse and the pool, and I don't know because he's really that's what he does because he can't just be there.
It's like vacation, staycation at your house.
Right in the backyard, just go out back.
So I know you do Color Street on the side, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
how long have you been doing that?
since last September.
So, and you like it because you like the to paint your nails? Is that why? Or
Yeah, so that's like one thing. So he says we're not going to have any more kids, right? And I'm suddenly like, out of the last 15 years, over 9 of it I have spent pregnant and or nursing. So like I suddenly was like, who am I outside of being pregnant or having a newborn? Like who am I
yeah.
as a mom, as a person? And I'm perfectly
I
happy to be
know the
mom,
feeling.
right? Like I'm perfectly happy to be mom. And,
Yeah.
but like
But
one
who are
day
you as an adult? You
right,
know?
like one day these guys are all going to be gone, and
Yep.
then what do I do with myself? So yeah, Color Street was my thing to do to yeah.
Be with other women or
Right,
whoever. Yeah,
right.
I do like it. I mean, like for someone who's left-handed and can't paint their nails, I mean, that's me. Like I could do my toes, that's it.
Really?
But
Like, I never thought about because when I paint my right hand, it is more difficult. But
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm left-handed, so my right hand always looks awesome, but my left hand looks like a piece of crap. Like someone took a big, brush for the paint for the house and slapped some stuff on there.
Yeah.
But
Did you have a
so,
parent that was left-handed?
huh?
Did you have a parent that was left-handed?
No.
So I have a nephew that's left-handed, and he's a twin actually, and
Uh-huh.
he's the only one that's left-handed. And so
Oh.
when he was first learning to write, that was a thing. Like, how do we teach him to write? Because normally you sit behind him, you take their hand, and you help him a
Yeah,
little bit, help him hold it. I
right.
finally learned that if I sat across the table from him and wrote
Mhm.
upside down, I could help him that way because I can write upside down with my right hand better than I can write upside or right side up with my left hand. My left hand, I can't really do
I'm
anything.
sorry, say that again? No.
Right, like, did I say it right? Like, everybody knew what I said, right?
No, okay, so I'm 48, and so when I was in second grade, um, and we were learning to write. And so
Mhm.
I automatically was writing with my left hand, and my teacher kept making me write with my right hand, and I couldn't do it. So finally, she gave up.
Right.
And so from then on, I learned. But I can remember them trying to force me not to write with my left hand.
Yeah.
So, and I do everything. Now as I gotten older, I've learned to do other things with my right hand. But for the majority, for everything, I'm left dominant. Like I would kick the ball with my left foot. I hit the bat with my left, not with my left foot, but with my left in a left-handed stance. So,
That's like the only
um,
thing that I can do halfway decently left-handed is bat. Sometimes I do drum.
yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
I just, which I could never hit. We always played softball when I was a teenager, and
Mhm.
whenever I would hit, it would go far, but it was like I always went right through second and the shortstop, like right down the line. But it was so
Mhm.
close to the ground, it would take them forever to get it. So, but I,
So you were
but
good.
well, I tried to be. I mean, I couldn't run very fast, which is probably a good thing. The ball went far because I was a slow runner.
I
But
love
yeah,
baseball, but I'm not very good
yeah.
at it. But I am not super competitive.
Mhm.
So I said that's why I don't get better because I'm like, it's fun, it's a
Eh,
game. And so
yeah.
I'm just out there having fun. Yeah. I'm like the
Well,
only
not
one.
everybody's like that, Michelle. I mean,
No one else in my family is like that. They are all, my husband is so super competitive and it kind of frustrates him sometimes because I'm like, let's just have fun. Let's go. Like, this is great. And
it's
oh,
like,
I
why are
did
you
really
getting
crappy.
upset?
Yeah, right? Like, I hit that ball really bad, but hey, I hit it. So this is good.
Hey, I made a connection.
Right? He'll never choose me to be on his team. Let me just tell you.
That's
We
funny.
played cornhole and I was on his team and he still is making fun of me, even though this was like last year, because I threw the bag into the fire. I like I totally like it was not straight at all. It went off
So
to the right
I'm
and landed
guessing
in
the
the bonfire.
fire was not by the cornhole, right? It was far away.
It was yeah, it was far enough away I should not have been near hitting it.
That's hilarious.
I'm
Well, I
terrible.
really, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us your story. Um, anytime anybody suffers a death, it's not easy.
Right.
Um, and especially one where you didn't get, it's like you didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to do this, and you're seeing your kids grow up, and that. Well, I wonder how she would have done this.
I do that a
All
lot.
the all the what ifs and everything. So,
I said it's
um,
really funny because a lot of times it's when they're fighting. Like you'll hear the kids bickering and you'll be like, I wonder where she would fit in. Would she be the peacemaker? Would she be the instigator? Would she, like where would her place
well, I mean, she did poop in the tub of water, so I'm sure she
so
would have
she
been causing a
probably
big ruckus.
probably
Well, she's like, I'm here,
right.
and we're doing this.
That's right. I don't know. But
Well, I really enjoyed talking to you, and you've got a wonderful smile, and I just really appreciate, you know, um, you telling your story. I know it's not easy to do, and especially being a mom, and working as much as you do. Um, I mean, it's hard to keep your family close when you're working a lot of hours and then trying to make sure that love is alive, and everybody's getting along, and so
my
kudos to
husband's
you.
really affectionate. He's really, really good. He's a
Yeah,
really good dad.
yeah.
Even
Well,
if
I
staying at
mean,
home was an accident and it drives him crazy. But God has been
yeah,
good to us. That is for sure.
right,
Like
right.
our kids. Yeah.
Well, can they reach out to you if they have any questions, like if they've went lost, a newborn, or if they just want some color streak nails? So
Oh,
can they
definitely.
find you?
And I have a little something in the works that's coming up new too. Not Color Street.
Oh,
A
okay.
new little thing. So
So reach out to Michelle. Hopefully she'll let us know when that happens. Maybe you can come back on and we can talk about it again. So
hopefully, like fingers crossed in the next week I'll be ready to totally announce it. There are a couple people that know, but yeah.
gotcha. All right. Well, thank you very much. And we will see you later. All
Thank you.
right, bye, Michelle.
Bye.